It's early Tuesday morning in Lower Manhattan. I'm here to 111 Broadway to co-host John Gambling Show on WR Radio. John's an old friend. I'll probably go around a bit, but looking forward to the show. Soon we'll be talking about taxes, whatever's on his mind this week, whatever he's mad about, I guess we'll be talking about. So anyway, let me head up there and do battle with.
Thank you so much.
No problem.
The president begins a series of town halls today in Virginia. He's trying to sell his rating on the economy, tied for his worst rating ever on that issue.
Later today, the president will focus on revamping the immigration system with a bipartisan.
Ready to go.
You're looking good there too.
Brian, you want to just watch? We don't have to really do anything today. Not give a free shot at it.
You got it? And Bill Rock's got it exactly right. It's your chance to get involved and to sound off. If you've got a question for Congressman Peter King, this is your time, 800-321-0710. Another John Gambling WOR Town Hall. Congressman King, good morning.
John, it's great to be with you. This is my ultimate in constituent service. You're a prominent constituent, and here I am. You call, I arrive.
Well, you've been dubbed my co-host because we've talked so many times over the last 12, 13 years, I guess.
Long time.
And I always enjoy it, whether it's in person or on the telephone. I want to start off with your hearings on the radicalization of Americans. You had your first hearing on March 10th. And there was a lot of talk. You and I talked a lot. Everywhere they were covering you. You were ridiculed left and right. And I'll be honest with you. I thought with all of that buildup that you had to do, what'd you do? 1 day, 2 days?
It was 1 day hearing on March 10th. The next one will be in June, and the one after that in July.
My question, why that format, 1 day only? Why not take the momentum and go a couple of days, a week, or whatever it might have been?
What we're dealing with is precise topics. The one in March was to show that Al-Qaeda is now making a concerted effort to radicalize within the Muslim American community, and I believe that the leaders in the community are not responding sufficiently enough to that. And we had one expert witness, and then we had two others who have actually had their family members radicalized. One was killed. Another one is right now facing a death sentence in a court in Arkansas. And then the next one will be on prison radicalization. It's to show, basically it takes several months to prepare for these. And it's to get the debate going and to take the various topics. Another one will be on the extent of Al-Shabaab, which is an affiliate of Al-Qaeda, that they have now over almost 3 dozen Americans have been actually taken from the U.S. and are being trained overseas. So it's to show the various aspects of it. I know the media was, I don't know what they were expecting. They were expecting, I guess,
I think we were expecting something larger because usually in Washington when all this noise is made, we get sort of a larger, and I hate to use this show, the word here, show, because that sounds disparaging. I don't mean it that way, but
right.
I think you're right. I think the media did expect.
Yeah, and I was very proud of that hearing. To me, it was very well thought out. It was very productive. It went for 4 straight hours, which is unusual for congressional hearing. There was no breaks. There was nothing. And it was the type of really, I thought, intellectual type and thorough hearing that I wanted to have. Now, we could have brought in people who would have made very extreme charges, and they could have turned into a circus. Then they would have been attacked for running a circus and an inquisition. When instead we had, I thought, a very solid, productive hearing. Then they said, well, it wasn't exciting enough. Well, I'm looking at the whole product here, and I think what we have done.
Come on, you didn't have acrobats, you didn't have any of that kind of stuff.
But I think we've dramatically changed the American debate. This wasn't a subject that was even on the table before.
Correct.
Now it is being discussed, and I think by the time we have the next hearing, the hearing after that, I'm going to be chairman for 2 years, hopefully longer, but at least for 2 years. At the end of the 2 years, we're going to have had a series of hearings. I think the national debate is going to have shifted, and hopefully it will encourage leaders in the Muslim community to come forward, because as I've said a million times, the overwhelming majority of Muslims are outstanding Americans.
We all know that.
Unfortunately, though, many of them who've gone into the leadership positions to me are not reflective of the community. They have very radical views, and they're the ones who the media tends to cover more.
Any sense of change from your hearings, or were they just, the first bubble?
No, we're getting, some people have come forward. I'm hearing from people.
What about leadership people that you and I talked about their quietness?
No, not enough. There's some younger Muslim Americans who reached out to me, but I still don't feel that that there's been enough of a change in the leadership levels. Having said that, this is a process. It's like moving a battleship.
As chairman of...
Secretary Nicole Thomas will be here tomorrow. She's been on
it's the right step. I think the color-coded system did work better than people gave it credit for, but it is time to move on. And I think it's going to be much more threat addressed. It's only going to raise the level, and there's been a significant change. And also it'll notify the specific industry or area that is being threatened. The only long-term concern I have about this is that the public will not always be aware of the threats that are out there. Which I'm not concerned for the safety so much, but I don't want the American people to think that threats are going away or the situation is safer than it's been. The fact is we have an enemy that still wants to kill us all the time. So I support the new system, but I also want to find a way that we can let the American people know that there are threats to us. Al-Qaeda is after us, and there are people working within this country who are affiliated with Al-Qaeda, and they are trying to destroy us. So it's the balance of having a more focused terror threat system, but also letting people know that we are still in danger.
So what you're saying is this will not be enough?
No, I think this system is good, but I'm saying at the same time we're doing it, it's important upon leaders in Homeland Security and the federal government to let people know that we are still being threatened. Not necessarily with particular threats, but just find a way that the American people don't drop their guard. I don't want us to become that we think we're so safe that we can cut back on Homeland Security, or we can afford to look the other way. We can't. In many ways, as Secretary Napolitano has said, the enemy is more dangerous today than it was back on September 11th.
What can you tell me about the changes?
Well, basically, we're going to get away from the color code threats, and whenever there's a significant rise in the terror threat, that's when a notice will go out. It will either go to the general public, or it may just go to a particular industry or a particular location. They will be notified of it. But we have to assume that there's always a high threat level. It's when it goes above that a warning is going to go out. So it's going to be much more focused, much more specific, and it's not going to be as it was in the first several years, going up and down, and people not sure what's going to happen and what should be done. This will be much more focused and precise.
It's time for a change.
Absolutely time for a change, and I give Secretary Napolitano credit for making this change. This is bipartisan. I fully support what she's doing.
Great. I got everything.
Okay, finished the morning with John Gambling and with Fox News, and back to Nassau County, back to Massapequa Park to get some work done in the office. It was great being with John. He's really a solid guy, and a constituent, by the way. And hopefully those who listened to the show found it worthwhile. And maybe if I get thrown out of Congress one of these days, I'll start my own radio show. You never know. In any event, thanks for listening, and see you soon.